Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm John Furness, and this is StarCraft 2. Spawning on the bottom right side of Coda from Team Punchline, it is Zuka. And on the top left of the map, currently teamless, it is Drake Blitz. Both of these players are in Masters Leagues, and Zuka is on the Academy portion of Punchline Esports, the French team, which Firecake is the most famously known. Both of these players are in Masters League. Zuka has been in Masters League 10 times, played 52 games so far this season. And Drake Blitz, on the other side, has been in Masters 15 times, which I think is pretty much as often as you can have been in Masters. So that is pretty impressive. Right now, nothing too shady going on. No proxy barracks, no proxy gateways. Punchline is Zuka is chrono boosting out probes, building that gateway for the safe expand. Drake Blitz is building his barracks. Gas is going down after barracks, so he's not looking to do any super quick factory rushes. He'll probably just want to get that Reaper out for that scout and maybe a probe kill, we'll see. Zuka, on the other hand, is going for double gas, so that's definitely interesting this early on. We'll see if he wants to get out an early Stargate, maybe hide some Dark Templar attack or blink somewhere on the map. But with that extra gas income, there's all sorts of fun and exciting things he can do. He does build his second pylon on the base, so it looks like he doesn't want to hide anything yet with that. We'll see where that third pylon goes. It's not saturating both of his gases immediately, so it looks like he wants to keep his mineral income up for a little bit. On the other hand, Drake Blitz has his orbital command on the way, second supply depot finishing up a wall, and Reaper, which is rallied to head across the map. Both these guys, fingers blazing across the keyboard, going over 300 actions per minute for a little while there. Definitely lots of moving. We do have that first Zealot on the way for Zuka. We'll see if he decides to cancel it once the Cybernetics core is done, which he does. He sees no barracks. He's on a little bit of a probe out there for a little scout to make sure there wasn't any group of units hiding at his entrance, and does throw down that Nexus pretty quickly. Drake Blitz's Reaper is on the way, gonna jump in the base, see what he can see. And Drake Blitz also throws down his command center at just a few seconds after Zuka's second Nexus. Zuka's Mothership Core is out, stops the Reaper from getting too much of a scout, so he'll run off while he recovers his hit points. And looks like that early tech from Zuka is going to be the Stargate, which he just builds in the back of his base. And Drake Blitz did not see that. So right now we just have Marines being built 2 at a time on the reactored barracks. Factory is on the way, as well as the first command center, first engineering bay. So it looks like Drake Blitz will definitely want to be prepared for any Stargate play, or DTs, or any other scary tech that might come along. He does have the Reaper searching around for any proxy Stargates, so he'll know that anything coming will have to come all the way across the map. So we do have an Oracle coming out for Zuka as his choice, but we already have the first turret on the way in the main mineral line. We do have 2 Widow Mines on the way with Starport, second turret in the natural. And Drake Blitz does see the Oracle coming across with his Reaper. Looks like he'll run in, see if he can slide on through, but with that Stalker, Reaper will go down. So we do have 6 Marines out for Drake Blitz, and if Zuka's not paying attention, he could definitely lose his Oracle to that. It's interesting Widow Mine placement by Drake Blitz, and one of the great places to put it is right by the refinery. A lot of Protoss don't expect that, and it is a one-shot kill on Oracle. So right now, Drake Blitz just does a little bit of shield damage, doesn't get too much done. First medevac is on the way, along with 2 Widow Mines. Oh, Zuka does get off the Revelation on Drake Blitz's army, but unfortunately doesn't get that medevac, which popped out literally a second afterwards, so still be able to run across the map with that without being spotted. Do now have additional gateways and a robo facility on the way for Zuka, so he'll be able to get out that observer and be pretty well prepared for the Widowmine drops. This is a really early photon overcharge. I'm not sure why Zuka threw that down quite already. It will be almost done already by the time Drake Blitz's drop gets here. Do have a cannon going down in each mineral line, and that first observer is out now, so this Widowmine drop definitely won't be doing too much. Additional gateways are finishing up, and we actually have a bunch of oracles building back here, so he's going to be going up to 4 oracles shortly, which, if Drake Blitz is not paying attention, could definitely do a lot of damage to his mineral lines. So, Stim researching on the way, a couple additional barracks going down, both players, well, Drake Blitz still building SCVs, and Zuka is building additional probes as well. So it looks like they just want to get their economies going. There is a War Prism on the way before any Immortal and before that robotics facility finishes up. Drake Blitz still does go for the drop, doesn't even manage to get either Widowmine buried before everything is killed and loses the medevac too. Definitely not quite the best thing that could have happened. He does get the second drop off and gets the medevac away. 1 Widowmine managed to bury and get 3 probe kills. So that one was slightly more successful, but probably still not really worth it for everything getting cleaned up and almost losing another medevac. So this little hit squad, actually it's a pretty big hit squad of 5 oracles moving out. They can definitely run in and cause a lot of damage, and with good micro it could pull back from that missile turret. You might be able to keep most of them alive. Oh, goes for the missile turret at first, but that quick response time from Drake Blitz definitely helped push that back, and it does end up getting 8 worker kills with that though, so it was not too bad at all. 4 kills on this one guy. So that was a really nice repair though by Drake Blitz, otherwise those oracles would have knocked that down pretty quickly. Zuka does decide to put down his 3rd base. Drake Blitz did have a Widowmine there, which killed the probe, but unfortunately it got the building up first. And Drake Blitz is now finally moving across the map with his first group of units. Ooh. Zuka's gotta look out there, but he does get the revelation, so he'll be able to see everything that Drake Blitz is doing. Oh, that quick stim almost does get down 1 oracle, almost gets down a second one as well. So at home, it's really not actually too much from Zuka. He does have the 2 Colossus and a couple Stalkers, warping in more Stalkers and another Colossus on the way, but not really too much meat to protect those Colossus from the bio. And he is pulling those oracles back just to keep scouting around and see what's going on. There's a little bit of a War Prism harass in Drake Blitz's natural, which all of his SCVs were already not mining. And he does manage to get 1 SCV kill with that before it gets cleaned up. And the War Prism gets away, so there will always be a threat there in the back of Drake Blitz's mind. Right now, Drake Blitz is at +1 attack with his +1 armor, about 50 seconds away, and Zuka has his +1 armor already done, and his +1 attack is about to finish. He does have the Twilight cancel down with Blink on the way, so he'll be able to start up another attack right away if he wants to, or armor. And Drake Blitz does have his second engineering bay on the way, as well as that armor, so he'll be able to get up those higher tier attack and armor upgrades. Do also have Templar Archives coming down for Drake Blitz, as well as a DT, so he'll be able to get those storms out and do some additional harass with Dark Templar. Drake Blitz is just now starting to get his third base. He's still 22 workers behind Zuka. Yules will be able to help clear up a little bit, but ooh, there's a nice block from Zuka with that Zealot Warp in, and it just delays that third a little bit more. And Warp Prism does manage to get away. He drops those Zealots as a little distraction so the Warp Prism can survive. Once that DT Shrine is done, that will always be a threat in the back of Drake Blitz's mind. Zuka's also throwing down some nice proxy pylons around the map that will help him with any warp and reinforcements for when he decides, or run-bys for when he decides to attack and move across the map. We're up to 4 Colossus with a 5th one on the way. Zuka's ground force, his gateway force to support these Colossi is still not really too big, and right now Drake Blitz does have a almost 30 army supply lead, and he is starting to get out a fair amount of Vikings. 6 Vikings against 4 Colossus, still not going to be quite enough, but he is building 3 at a time now with 2 Stargates with Reactor. There are some Dark Templar in here doing work, getting a lot of worker kills before they get cleaned up. That was another 16 worker kills for Drake Blitz, and without a missile turret yet at his 3rd, Drake Blitz had to waste a scan to kill that last DT, so that was definitely a lot of damage. Ghost Academy did get built for Drake Blitz, so he's going to want to start getting out ghosts soon. He does not have any yet and is not quite building any. Zuka does lose another Oracle just going into Scout. He does get a Revelation off on just a few Vikings. So it looks like Zuka definitely wants to start moving across soon. He does have a pretty big supply lead right now. His army is still not quite as strong, but with 6 Colossi against 9 Vikings, it's still going to take a little while for Drake Blitz to be able to do any damage. And he does start to lose Viking. No, not going to lose. Oh, loses 1 Viking for free. And the battle has begun. We do have a nice storm there, zoning out Drake Blitz's army and doing a lot of damage to the bio. Zuka is not trying to focus down any of the Vikings with his ground forces. And it looks like both of them are just going to take a lot of damage. Vikings are going to clean up the Colossus, but most of Drake Blitz's Bioforce was cleaned up as well. So there's still a lot of Marauders up. We'll be able to soak most from this, most of the damage from this 1 Colossus, which will still go down to those 4 remaining Vikings. Still almost perfectly even on army supply. Do have additional Dark Templars running in, see if they can do damage to this base. There is a missile turret up now, though, so once Drake Blitz sends his army in, he'll be able to clean this up, or should. But he's not quite prepared. There is the flank from Zuka, just going to do some more damage to this force. Nice micro and stutter step from Drake Blitz. And I don't know, it's a tough position right now. There's lots of action going on multiple sides of the map. Zuka has managed to clean up most of these workers here, and there is the GG from Drake Blitz.